Absolutely, man. Let's go back a little bit back to music. Before we go into the album, the many ways around the sun, and we'll spend a lot of time talking about that. I went to Spotify and Bandcamp last night, trying to pick some tunes here and there, different tracks, and I really like a particular track called Venture. I think from the album is Full Force a Hit compilation under the title Gemini. Gemini. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, that was my first recording session with Jamaaladeen Tacuma,
Yeah.
who used to play bass with Ornette Coleman. And I was playing in Philly. I think that was, man, I don't know what the date of that would be, but it's probably like 96, 97, maybe.
Right, around that, yeah, 97.
And he came into Silk City where I was playing a gig. And the particular night he came in, I was on, in the band, and I got a solo to play on a Thelonious Monk tune or something. And I was really, I was reading it and really, reading the changes and doing a guitar solo on that. And it was just one of those nights where you're just gone, but you're really there with the music. And he called me the next day. He's like, Tim, I'm making a record today. Can you come and play on it? And I was like, he's very last minute like that, And we went in the studio. I still remember us playing live, and he'd just be, saying like, move that shit around, play some chords, move it around, move it around, move it around. And I'm like, oh, it was like such a new experience playing with him. And he taught me a lot about free improvisation and creating in the moment, composing in the moment. Like we're making the song right now, every note, every chord counts, and how to paint, really kind of like painting with chords and harmony and sentences,
Yeah,
paragraphs, things like that.
that's great, man. With respect to the latest album, the many ways around the sun, feel free to elaborate on. I'm picking two track here. The many ways around the sun, and then let love open your heart. Both are beautiful pieces, man. The whole album is unbelievable, but I'm picking two.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. Well, many ways around the sun. That's a pretty interesting story in a few ways. And sometime right before lockdown, a friend of mine had a Mellotron that he owned, like one of the first ones, and he was selling it. And he had it at a music store near my house. And I was thinking, because I knew I was going to be writing this album, and I was thinking, wow, Mellotron would be amazing. I wonder if I could borrow it. So I called him.
Yep.
Like, of course you can borrow it. You just have to go to the store. I'll let him know that you're going to pick it up, and you just got to, put it in your truck and take it down into your studio. And I have steps that go down. And so Mellotrons are big and kind of unwieldy. So my roommate helped me, and we got it down here. So we had this ancient Mellotron down here. And so when the song started, which was maybe a month later, I have a reed organ down here. And I don't even know who made it, but I bought it 10 years ago for like $100. And it's just sounded amazing, but I never used it, ever. So this particular day, I was like, it was a Saturday, and I was looking around the studio, and I'm like, what does this reed organ sound like? So I pulled it over into the control room and kind of blew the dust off and plugged it in and turned it on. And it worked. And I started playing some chords, and almost immediately, a chord sequence, was beginning, and I could feel a song coming on like right then. So I immediately got a microphone and put it on the speaker of the unit and set up my recording rig. And I have a drum machine here called an MPC 2000, and I had loaded it with a kick drum sound that I had recorded from my kick here. So I just kind of put like, a 4/4 pattern, just like boom, 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 like a heartbeat, really. And I played against that and recorded the chord progression that was coming out. And once that was all done, it just seemed like the chord progression made sense. And it was kind of an improvisation, but I could just tell when to change to the next section and stuff like that. And not long after that, I was just hearing a melody to sing against that. And the first thing that came out was Many Ways Around the Sun, that was the line. It's like a mantra. And so I recorded those things in so I wouldn't forget them. And I just kind of built the track that day and added Mellotron strings. So it's kind of like the Genesis King Crimson strings, because it was that same tape rack, that they used to use. And, added drums, added cymbals, added crash cymbals. I added bells. Eventually, it just kind of, as I kept layering and texturizing the song and orchestrating the song, really, it would tell me what the next step was. Like I could just hear like the end needed to have bells. I was thinking about Alice Coltrane or something, And once I had all that stuff recorded in, then I just did some real subtle mixing, and it was like the song is there. There it is, and I did a reference mix, and I just remember, wow, where did that come from? It was like it was channeled through, it's like I wasn't thinking any of that stuff. It was like just coming through. And that song is profound to me because it's just a song of hope, really, and letting us know that it's okay to follow your heart, or something like that. And there's many ways around the sun, meaning, there's all kinds of ways through life, and don't get boxed in. Keep it open. Keep it wide open. So that's kind of what that song's about.
Yeah. You know who Bubble Buu is, right? You know who Bubble Buu is?
I'm not sure.
I will send you some links. The mantras and describing what you're talking about. You will appreciate that. Not many people know that kind of German band that did a lot of music for Werner Herzog movies. I'm quite sure you know them. Yeah, I will send you links.
That sounds great.
You will love them. I mean, if you mentioned before that as if a lot of stuff was being channeled and some stuff came into dreams.
Yeah.
You believe in that kind of, parapsychology, so to speak, that people think that it's parapsychology or lucid dreams. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, this particular dream kind of rattled me because it was my dad, when he was a young man. Yeah. And the exact dream was that I was walking down on the sidewalk and he was across the street walking towards me, and it was like him in 1960 or something, as my dad back then. And I saw him. It was like the first time I've seen him in a long time, and I waved to him. I was so happy to see him in my dream.
Yeah.
And he waved. He was friendly, but he had no idea who I was and just kept going. But I was really glad to see him. But it was like, and I woke up immediately. And there's a song on the album called "Lessons in Life," and that's where that song and those lyrics come from. Probably kind of his advice to me.
I got you. And I also read that you were playing all the instruments in that particular album, right?
Yeah.
How you manage that? How long does it take for you put all the track together and then going back and adding this, removing that, and it's a long process?
Yeah. It's kind of like all that started maybe when I was in Dayton, Ohio, and I played in a band that I was telling you about. We had 2 reel-to-reels, and all the band's gear was there. So the keyboard player had 6 synthesizers and organs and mini moogs and string ensembles. Those were there, pianos, basses, my guitars and effects, and a drum kit. So I was starting to write songs, and it just became very important for me to kind of know a little bit of my way around. And when I grew up as a kid in my mom and dad's house, they had a piano there, so I would sit on the piano, and I kind of self-taught myself the piano over the years, and just continued always to play keyboards. And so I've had a recording studio for I don't know how long now, 25 years or 30 years probably. And, I've just learned over the years to play pretty much everything that's down here. And there's things that I don't play, like I don't play brass instruments or reed instruments. I can't really play an upright bass, but I can play bass pretty well. I'm not a drummer per se, but I can do really simple drum parts and things like that. And I can program drum machines. And so I've learned my way around the studio to be able to kind of conjure a whole band. And so that I think that's kind of what it was like for this record was, we were in lockdown. So, it was going to be me recording everything. I wasn't going to be bringing drummers in or bringing anybody in. So, and like, that song, Many Ways Around the Sun, the thing about that was it just happened in that whole day. And I had to just record it all and get all those ideas down. And, it's like each pass was very purposeful. Like I felt each pass. And if I was playing the kick drum with a mallet, I felt every beat. It wasn't like I was programming it with, pads or samples or things like that. So I think that's another thing that makes this album kind of interesting is that everything is an instrument, they're not samples really. And so because of that, everything is intentioned, Yeah.
When is the album coming out, you say?
The album's going to be released July 30th. So in 1 month, and we're doing pre-orders for the record right now. And there's 2 singles out that I think
Yeah. And the
yeah.
and the person who worked with you sent me a link that I was able to listen to the whole album. It's unbelievable. You should do very well with that.
Oh man,
I'm very serious, man. But you need to I don't know. You need to promote it differently. All the stuff you have done, because it's kind of in a way targeting a different audience.
I think
like I don't know, like if you're known as a jazz guy or rock guy, unfortunately in life people box you in the stuff, and this album is very different according to me, right? According to me, and then in a way, it should be able to target other segments in society, if you will, to listen to it, because it's very refreshing. It's very well done. It's very personal, and it's inner experience that you were going through at the time, and that everybody went through. All of us live it locked down the same way. We couldn't go out. We couldn't go to shows. We you don't know if the vaccine were not around, so you don't know if you're going to be alive, or your neighbors have COVID, or your wife, or parents, kids, whatever. So it's a great album that a lot of people need to have the opportunity to listen to, man. So you should do.
That really does mean a lot, and it's really true. Like during that period of time, writing these kinds of songs were really, kind of like almost for my soul. There's something that was coming out that felt very optimistic and positive, and hoping that it would bring, really just hope to whoever would hear it. Because, it starts with me first, that hearing these songs made me feel better, and even the ambient stuff that I was doing on the Inside record, it was the same thing. They were healing me in some kind of way, and then I think if it makes me feel good, it makes my girlfriend feel good. If it made the engineer who mixed the album feel good, I said, well, then, that's good enough for me, and if we get it out there, then hopefully some other people are going to feel that, because if we're feeling
like I did, right, listening to the whole album. Now, looking back and now kind of general question, if you look back in your career, is any memorable concert or one or two that you say, well, and I remember the gig in Germany in whatever, 82, or in France or in Chicago, whatever. Are a couple of moments in your life you say, man, that night I played the best I could, or I was, it was a great gig playing with.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of
so many, yeah.
And I would say, I'm in a band with Kurt Rosenwinkel called Bandit 65, and the drummer Gintas Janusonis, and When that band started playing live, of course, that was a thrill. And because it's a complete improvising band, we just go out and every night is like whatever happens for 2 hours, on stage is what it is. And we had so many memorable nights, and we started, and some gigs would be like, wow, that was insane, what happened? And then there would be other gigs that would be like, part of the gig would be like, wow, we got to listen to that tape when we get back, because we would record every show. And I'd have to say that there was one concert in the Bonn Jazz Festival in Germany that really hit a high point. Like, we were just flying that whole concert. And there's actually some video footage of that on YouTube that you can check out. There's, I think, one tune that you could see that. But then recently in January 2020, which was going to be the start of an amazing year of touring and all kinds of great stuff before we were locked down, we did a concert in Philadelphia. And that was the highest point I think the band maybe has reached, in the fact that all three of us that particular night were just crushing. We were all in it. And also we were playing in Philly, so it was kind of like a hometown crowd, and it was packed with lots of musicians and lots of our friends and just music heads. And so I would have to reference that show maybe as one of the high points. And we're hoping to release that on Kurt's label. He has a label called Heartcore. And it would be like a bootleg stereo recording that had been mastered. But the music on it is well worth, that.
It's great to do a great gig and then play it in your hometown. That's so it's like listening to, I don't know, Eric Clapton in London, the Royal Albert Hall or wherever. It's
yeah, that's like his club at this point.
Yeah, of course he is. Do you miss touring and playing live music on one hand, and then for some bands go on the road for 2 or 3 months, and the band and the family and the kids, and it's difficult to be on the road for that long. Do you miss? I mean,
I've been lucky so far. Usually when I tour, the longest I've been out is a month.
Yeah.
Once you're out a month, you start, it starts getting harder to be out. For me anyway. I know some people are out for several months or, depending on the project. But usually I'll go out for, a week or two, usually 2 to 3 weeks at a time. It just depends, and then you can come back and kind of re-energize and do other stuff, and then there'll be some other dates. Like right now, there's a band that I'm in called Pact, P-A-K-T, and that's with the bassist from England, Percy Jones, and Alex Skolnick, who's an amazing guitar player, Kenny Grohowski, who's an incredible drummer, who you might know from Secret Chiefs 3 or his projects with John Zorn. He plays with everybody. He also played in Brand X with Percy, and then myself. And that's also an improvising band, and we have a double album coming out in July also, July 22nd. And we're going to be doing, I believe, five concerts on the East Coast of Philly area, Sellersville. We're going to be at Darrell Hall's club, which is in Pawling, New York. I know we're playing. I'm trying to think where else we're playing, but it's up on the website. And anyway, I'm really looking forward to playing live because we haven't really played live during the lockdown. This band got together and did a live stream in New York, and we all wore masks. So we were all masked. There was one person in the club and the technicians who filmed and recorded it, and that was an amazing concert. And that will be what the record is. It's going to be a double CD from that, it's just a profound recording. And so we're taking this out live. So we'll be doing that in July, and I believe in September there's going to be some dates, and December as well. So looking forward to getting back on the road and bouncing in and out of a lot of really nice towns. So
right. That's great. And you have played. Looking at all the people that you have mentioned, and you, for the research that I known about you you have played with so many great people and been involved in so many different projects. And where's the motivation from Jim to keep on producing good music? Yeah, that, of course that's your life and you get paid to life, but beside that, what's the motivation, Jim, to waking up in the morning and keep on producing great music and listening to stuff and then rehearsing again and trying to learn new tricks and so on. So where's the motivation come from, man?
That's a really great question. I mean, I have to just think that, it's a compulsion. My sister used to say it was an addiction. But, what it really is from my side is a great love of music. And we all have heroes and we have compadres that we want to play with, and when you're in a great band and it comes together like this, you get music that you could never touch by yourself. You get to new musical plateaus and mountaintops that are just so exquisite that you didn't even know they existed, until you did it. And so I think there's like a quest. It's a sonic quest, sound and harmony and melodies and sequences and new ways that everything goes together with different people that you play with. That is just, it keeps you hungry for it. I constantly want to play live, and if I'm home, I'm always walking around with a guitar or, listening to an album. But I'm always on my guitar every day, and new ideas are coming out, like new stuff that I've never heard before. And it keeps me really excited about life in general. And I'm also a painter, so I'm also painting all the time.
Wow. Yeah.
The same kind of thing. I get that from painting as well. Sometimes I have to rest the ears and just really use the eyes, but all the stuff I know from music is coming into my painting, I think, as well. So,
yeah. I remember that I was reading an interview from Pan Metheny recently, and the guy has done so many records. He has played in every single venue in the world, too many Grammys, and he said that he rehearse and practice, 2-3 hours a day or whatever. He want to get better, his standards are very high, I suppose, right? But he want to get better to take it to the next level.
Yeah, it's kind of that, and also just maintaining wherever.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you stop playing, you can lose it really quickly, and then you have to just build back up. And then when you get out on the road, like the first week might be dodgy for a while, but by that time, second week, you're just like getting up into, it's almost like you're non-thought. It's just starts flowing out. You don't even question your technique anymore.
Gotcha. If you have the opportunity to, to play with any, I don't know, three bands or three musicians that either play with them or opening for them, is any particular three that you wish you could have the opportunity to be associated with, to play with, or be an opening band for them?
I don't know. I always entertain the idea of like, I think that like, who is there anybody that would be a cool band to play in? And usually I'm like, I don't know. If I had an opportunity to play with Robert Plant current day, maybe that would be really cool. If I could play with Peter Gabriel, that would be really cool. Aside from that, I don't know. I'm really thrilled with the people that I'm playing with currently, and there's just all of my really close musical friends that are in Philly and New York and around the world that I play with is fantastic. And it just keeps widening. It seems like every year it's like, Leonardo at Moon June Records will say, hey, Tim, we're going to do a gig with John Medeski, or we're going to play with Kenny Grohowski, or I'm Percy Jones. And it's just like, it's widening out. And I'm just kind of going along with the flow. And, I've played with some amazing people. I got to play with Jaki Liebezeit and Friedman. And we made four albums, which was great. And that led to a collaboration with David Sylvian, which became 9 Horses. So these are like, those are kind of like dreams that came true, musical dreams. So I have a lot of those kinds of things that have happened in my life, like blessings, and working with poet Ursula Rucker for like 18 years. We toured around the world, and And through that kind of touring that we did and the festivals that we were on, the booking agent that she had in Hamburg just connected us with so many amazing people. And it's all just this gigantic network of blessings in a way, So, I just feel very grateful about everything that's already happened. And, it's like, let's see what happens next. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, you mentioned David Sylvian. David Sylvian is one of the other, heroes of mine. And
yeah,
he disappeared and he's not touring anymore. It's very, of course you need to respect his life, but I wish he could, go back into the nightlife and so to speak, and then tour again. I never seen him. I would love to see him live. And I have seen a lot of people. I mean, in my life here in the United States, I think I have seen Jim, I don't know, at least 1,000 shows or no, if no more. But one of these, Pat David Sylvian is one of the ones that, I wish I could have the opportunity to see him playing with his brother or by himself with another band, whatever, I would have to shake hands or.
Well, everybody feels that way, I think, about David. And I follow him still, and sometimes we're in touch on email and stuff like that, which is cool. But, I saw that he had a post the other day, and he said, I haven't, people keep asking me stuff. And he goes, it's been 8 years. I think he said it's been 8 years. And he goes, but you never know. He goes, if the urge comes back, could happen. Let's see, so.
He's also a painter and a photographer like yourself. I don't know. Maybe it's a correlation between people writing songs, being musician, and having the need to paint, or
Yeah, it's I don't know. All that stuff goes together. It's same with journaling and writing down tour journals, what happened during a day. Yeah. And after a while, like all your journals pile up, all your paintings pile up, and you just have all these artifacts that that's what I'm thinking about doing next is some kind of book where I kind of put in paintings and journals and photographs and lyrics and just something you could just open and it's just filled with inspiration.
When you were from tour to tour or bus to bus or hotel, were you taking picture, kind of do like a March 2017, we're playing this gig somewhere and we play with a couple of pictures from this particular venue or whatever?
Yeah, on my label website, which is very ancient now, it's called onerecordings.com. And if you go there on the main page and scroll down, there's an area. Well, actually, you could also go to timmotzer.com and scroll down there. But there's a page called Notes from the Road. And I used to do that. I used to blog from the road, kind of like what Tony Levin has always done.
Yeah, Tony.
It was kind of like a photograph from a particular city and just what happened. And, I've forgotten all about that. And every once in a while, I'll go to that page and it'll pop up. And I'm like, I'll read something from some gig or something. And it brings the memory back. And, it's from a different point of view now, looking back. But I'm glad I have that stuff. So, that might show up in this book, too, like bits and pieces from that, like just fragments.
Bits and pieces from the road. That would be a good title. For the website. Well, Tim was, that was my last question. Feel free to mention your website and where people can buy your music. And they, if you go to the website, feel free to mention everything. And
okay, I mean,
where are you going to be touring again and so forth. So I will listen.
I have a new website called timmotzer.com, and that's where I'm trying to put all the most up-to-date stuff. So tour dates and, kind of like what's happening. And I also have a show like yours. It's called Searching for Sparks, where I interview musicians every week.
Oh, wow. Searching for Sparks? Okay, yeah, I will listen to you.
And we talk about creativity and improvisation. We talk about lockdown. We talk about their histories, and we get into all kinds of stuff. So that's going on, and that's at my YouTube channel, Motzer. You'll find it, Searching for Sparks. And I've interviewed thus far like Kurt Rosenwinkel. I've talked to Percy Jones and David Torn and a lot of musicians that I've worked with, and it's really cool. I've really been enjoying that, and it's really, I think it's it's very helpful for the two of us in a conversation, just like now, feel good to connect and talk about ideas, and it kind of sparks memories and things like that. The other place that people can go for my music, where I would suggest you go, is 1krecordings.bandcamp.com. And Bandcamp's just doing such a great job for independent musicians. And so I have there's over 50 albums up there right now. And the new stuff is there. Many Ways Around the Sun will be coming out in a month, but you can pre-order it now, which would be great. The 2 singles are there, so you can get those. And then all of my ambient albums, soundscape albums, that is electric guitar, acoustic electric guitar, and electronics. And some of those titles I've mentioned inside. Couple favorites I have: Soak. There's another new one called Tear Aside the Veils, Unseen Universe, Luminous, a lot of that kind of stuff. And then there's some bands, Ryan Tango. We're working on a new album, so that'll be coming soon. But there's 2 albums in there right now. The Apple of No that I would recommend. So there's just so much stuff there to dig around. It's a lot of treasure, I think, in there to be discovered, really. And so those are the main places I would say. And then, I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram, Tim Motzer on Instagram. And my art is on Instagram too. I put some stuff up there from time to time, and that's timmotzer.art. So you can see that stuff. And I'm also on Twitter, so I'm in all these places
they can find you. Yeah.
Throwing things around and trying to keep up with it all, and trying to keep music going, and trying to keep it all happening.
Well, I'm glad that your parents say okay that to leave college and then go for music. So you did a good thing, man. That was a good decision looking back,
Oh man, thanks so much.
Tim, it was very nice talking to you. You are not only a great musician, but very good artist and very good person indeed. And I hopefully one day I will have the opportunity to see you playing live. Let me know I need to check the scale, but if you're in DC, let me know. We can get together for dinner or a beer or whatever,
That sounds great. I think eventually we're going to get down to DC, or I'll get to DC. Some kind of project's going to get that way. And
there are many venues here. When I say DC area, either Maryland or Virginia, where I live, there's so many great venues here. Many great venues, man.
Well, let's definitely stay in touch.
No, definitely, man. So,
feel free to reach out to me anytime.
Of course I will, man.
I'll send you stuff too, and if there's music you need, let me know.
Okay, thank you very much, Tim. It was very nice talking to you. Have a great night, man.
Claudia, take care.
You too. Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you.